How about a game or two?
So, what are the rules in Perudo? Oh, yes, I remember. Of course, it's a definitely perfect time and place to think about dice. There's a card game called True or False, very similar to Perudo. But the goal is the opposite. You must remain the last player with dice, not to get rid of all your cards. The first round of the game begins, and each player at the table gets 5 dice. These dice are hidden under the cups. Then, players choose randomly who will walk first. During the first turn, a player must make a bet, choosing how many dice of certain number are, as he thinks, on the game table under the cups of all players combined. A player calls the number of dice and face value. All ones are aces. They're also called wilds or pacos, so they can be used as any number. This means that they are added to the dice, the certain number of which the player named. Once a bet is made, the first turn ends. The turns are passed to the left hand. On the second turn, and after that, a player can not only raise the bet, but also either doubt the bet of the previous player, or declare a colza. If a player resorts to one of these two options, all players show their dice. A turn ends when a player performs any of these actions. The round ends when one of the players loses or receives a dice. At the end of the round, all players re-roll their dice. The bet can only be raised. It is necessary that each bet exceeds the previous one, either by the number of dice, or by the face value, or both. As an exception, it is possible to raise the bet by naming ones and cutting in half the last named number of dice, for the reason that this dice will stop being added. The next player will have to raise the bet either by increasing the number of ones or by naming another face value. But in this case, a player will have to increase the number of dice at least twice and add one more on top, too. If a player doubts the bet, all players show their dice. The player who doubts needs to have at least as many dice of the face value named in the bet, plus ones on the table than in the bet itself. If there are enough dice, the player who doubts the bet loses 1 dice. If less, the one who made the bet loses 1 dice. If a player declares a colza, all players show their dice. The player who declared colza needs to have on the table exactly as many dice of the named face value as in the bet, ones including. No more, no less. If the number differs from the bet, then the one who declared colza loses 1 dice. But he gets back 1 dice lost in the game if the number of dice on the bet and on the table are equal. In the second round and next, the one who lost or received a dice in the previous round starts. If a player has 1 dice left, he can complicate the game by declaring a special round of Maputo. Ones cease to be aces and are no longer added to the number of dice named in the bet during Maputo. Also, it is impossible to change the dice face value when raising the bet. After the declare of Maputo, the player who declared it must make a bet and then pass the turn. The game is won by the player who was the last at the table with at least 1 dice.
There is a lot to think about. You just got lucky. Let's see. Don't get cocky, we're still playing! There is a lot to think about. No, it's not over! What if... Nope, bad idea. Your turn. There is a lot to think about.
You just got lucky.
There is a lot to think about. No doubt. Four, five. Your turn. Nice going! You just got lucky. Don't get cocky, we're still playing. You won this time. Just hold on a second. Come on, you would. Ha! I won! Let's see. I won this round.
You won this time.
No doubt. Let's see. There is a lot to think about. Your turn. Ha! I won! Just got lucky. Come on, you would.